Untamed is going to be untamed. It's going to be a little crazy. I want to talk to my people. I want to talk to my brothers and sisters. We can have grace and humility in how we interact with other people.
Oh, hot dog, look at you.
And nobody talked about what's really happening.
And let's have conversations about what truth is. Whew, welcome back. We're getting closer and closer to being on time. Kind of a novel concept for me, not for the team. So I've been pushing a little bit of pressure on them. So we got a hit and run before we get to our guest today. And I want to give a plug to the Special Forces Foundation. So we're going to bring in Green Beret Lowell. I want to say this Coppert. It is probably Copert, but I'm going to get it wrong. But I get to see him tonight, so I think he'll give me a knuckle sandwich either way. I'll just ask him how big a boy he is. No, I'm just kidding. He's a U.S. Special Forces veteran and national security expert. He served in Iraq and Afghanistan with the U.S. Army Special Forces. After Special Forces, he joined Department of Energy Special Response Team. He's a 3-time All-American commander. He's a lifetime member of the Veteran of Foreign Affairs. He's a vice commander and lifetime member of the American Legion. And he is a lifetime member of the Special Forces Association and the Disabled American Veterans Organizations. He's a stud. But with that said, Lowell, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I get to see you tonight?
Yes, sir. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Huh?
It's going to be a good time. So
it is.
Hope you're prepared. All the boys are going to be there. So get to rub elbows with some of the fellows from the foundation and some of the guys we got from the local area on active duty. So
a couple nut taps and grab ass, a little bit of
that. Yeah, we might be a little bit of that. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. So we got an event. So tell everyone a little bit about Special Forces Foundation first.
So the Special Forces Foundation is not unlike any other charity in the fact of it is a veteran-centric service organization. What separates us from a lot of other charities is we were built by Green Berets to service Green Berets. So we are very centric in our mission, and that is servicing our own. We also take care of our families. We have a lot of service members that passed during Global War on Terror. Didn't pass, but were killed. Roughly 195 guys that we lost during the 20 years of war in support of our nation and Global War on Terror. So, that's 195 families that no longer have their patriarch, their breadwinner, if you will, per se. So that's one that's near and dear to our heart. But I think, one of the things that sets us apart, as you said on my intro, I'm a 3-time All-American commander with the Veterans of Foreign Wars. I've also done a lot of work with the American Legion. And unfortunately, across the country, a lot of treatment plans and all that kind of stuff is retroactive. And the fact of you're catching people when they need to be serviced. So, you recognize that a guy's having mental health issues, a guy's having problems with alcoholism, transitioning out of the military, that kind of stuff. That's all not new to us because that's been going on, since the beginning of time, essentially. But what we try to focus on now I'm the programs manager for the East Coast, and we have a programs manager for the West Coast, and we have a programs director that oversees all that. And one of the things that's unique within the foundation at the moment, and one of the things that we're working towards is being proactive. So a lot of the things that we do are outreach amongst our community, amongst those 5 active duty special forces groups and those 2 National Guard groups, to create events for the families, for the single soldiers, to identify the issues that are arising, and in a sense, tackle them before they become an issue where they need some sort of prolonged treatment or that kind of thing. Getting ahead of it, if you will, before it becomes something that is life-altering or life-changing.
Yeah, and you know what? We've at DCF, we've supported you for several years, and this year will be no different. We're going to continue to support you. So, give us some statistics on some of the people that you've helped. And I know I'm only bringing you in for a 5-minute spot to talk about it and hopefully get some people to donate to you and to kind of strengthen the awareness. But Give me some wins. Give me some wins, and how purposeful this organization is, because that's the one thing I noticed right away.
Yeah, and so, I think one of the things that's unique with us too is, I spent my entire military career roughly in the special operations community. So we're used to being in the shadows. We're used to going on a mission, coming home and watching somebody else get credit for that target that was taken down, or whatever that may be. And so it's unique for those of us that are now veterans within the foundation, because we need to be out in the limelight talking about our foundation and what it does. And like you said, those wins. With that being said, some of our wins are of active duty folks. So we can't go into like great depth on those, but some of those wins are, mental health related.
Yeah.
Like I said, we've got guys that have, I left SF in 2007. We were very new into the global war on terror. We'd been in that fight for 5 to 6 years at that point, and we didn't know if it was going to be something that was going to last a couple of years longer. I don't think anybody expected it to go on over another decade. And so now it's not uncommon amongst the Special Forces regiment to talk to a guy that will tell you he has 12 deployments. And thinking back to like our grandfather's era of World War II, like it's just unheard of.
Yeah, 2, 3, maybe 4. 4 was like your granddad of
I had combat
deployments.
deployments when I left, and people who were in the military before I was are like, man, you did 3 tours. I remember like talking to my father's era of folks, Vietnam era, that it was crazy. Like, man, this guy did 2 tours in Vietnam. And I'm like, I got buddies right now that are on their 14th deployment. But so to get to those wins, a lot of the stuff that we do is we've been focusing a lot on active duty, obviously, because that's where the heart and soul of this foundation is. To me, my heart's with the Gold Stars. We do a lot with the Gold Stars, and there are a lot of Gold Star organizations out there. But just like the SEALs, just like every other special operations community, we're going to take care of our own. Rangers will tell you Rangers lead the way. Rangers are going to take care of Rangers. Green Berets are going to take care of Green Berets, kind of thing. So, going back to our mission, very veteran centric, but some of the things that we've helped lately, and sometimes it's small things that to us doesn't seem like a big deal. And I mean, even with you, with your business, some of the things that you do that may seem like a small scale amongst the public, you don't realize how impactful it is to a family. Like we just recently bought a washer and dryer for a Gold Star because their house flooded. And it's just little things like that. It's small victories every single day. I was talking to our programs director, who I answer to, who's a registered nurse, works in a hospital. I was talking to her earlier today. We are having lunch together today because we're actually co-located right now for a golf event that we're working on in Colorado. And
I'll be there. That's tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. And so we were talking about that, and she was just talking about some of the organizations that we partner with. And that's another unique thing that the Green Berets within the Special Forces Foundation do. When we go overseas, where we essentially create partner forces. And so we've done the same thing. So like if your organization is combating mental health, we're not going to reinvent that wheel. We will partner with you, create an MOU with you, and then we will send our guys to get treatment through your organization. And so she was talking about how, across the board, Department of Defense, mental health is becoming more and more of an issue because obviously it's more and more of an issue in the United States. And so we are just a microcosm of society. And so she was saying, we've got a great partnership with a mental health facility that's so overtaxed that they basically are putting our guys at the front of the line because we have such a great relationship with them. And so she was talking about, that unique relationship that we've built with these folks because we are, a very reputable source. They've worked with us. They know who we are. They know that what we say, we mean, and that, when we say we're going to be there, we're going to be there, that kind of things. And that's how we run our foundation. When we go through selection, the 3 things that they tell you from day one is don't be late, don't be light, don't be out of uniform. And that applies every single day. We tell people selection doesn't end when you get selected. Same way with our tabs. We earn our tab every single day. And that's what the veterans that are a part of this foundation truly feel. We're able to give back to our brothers by serving in a capacity to take care of them. Some of us, because that wasn't afforded to us when we left. The transition wasn't there in the manner it is today. So, a lot of it is, it's not these big gratifying victories that I think sometimes people look for. A lot of it's just a little day-to-day, filling those little tiny gaps that people have because to them, it's a big deal. Not having a washer and dryer may seem like a first world problem, especially to those of us that have worked around the world and people that are in Europe and different places. We are very fortunate to be citizens of the United States and live here, and our problems are obvious.
We got a lot. We got a lot.
Different. Yeah, we do.
So
But it's
I
one of
wanna-
those things.
I want to say that's what that drew me to the organization. Also, you guys have explored things like the transcranial magnetic stimulation, the TMS systems. So I'm pretty close to Chuck Weber, who runs Family Care Center. So I know that they've done some things to try and get treatment to to relieve some of the stress related or PTSD that obviously plagues mostly the special forces or the elite force environment. So, all right. So, how can people
also,
follow?
I think,
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, the VA is there. The VA works. The VA gets beat up a lot. But if the VA was able to handle everything that it's supposed
Sometimes
to, or
rightfully.
was tasked to, per se,
Yeah.
exactly. Organizations like us wouldn't exist. We're there as the safety net. And I tell people, the wheels of government do turn. I'm not an anti 100. Does our government, does it have flaws? Yeah, everything does. Those wheels do turn. Often than not, sometimes they do not turn fast enough. And so I tell people the government is a cruise ship. The SF Foundation and VSOs are a speedboat.
Yeah.
And we work kind of in that capacity at times. And so that's why we exist, is to fill those small gaps. And like you said, some of these experimental things, it takes a long time and a long process, and not for necessarily a negative reason. Research needs to be done on these things, but we're able to kind of fast track some of that stuff and get guys into experimental programs and things like that. And sometimes that's all they have. So we're not losing anything by putting these guys that basically have no other option. This is an only option for them. So it's like, yeah, why wouldn't we do it?
And so the website, you're absolutely right. And, I always like to say the government is Johnny come, what have you done for me lately organization. So the second you stop becoming useful to them, they're like, what'd you say your name was? Ah, yeah. Oh, I remember. You're number 1765372. Yeah, go pull a number. Right. It's kind of what the VA's deal is. So, you got it is what it is. It's what everyone knows about the VA. And I'm grateful to have an organization like yours that can stand up for our brothers and sisters. So it's specialforcesfoundation.org, correct?
Correct.
All
yes,
right.
sir.
I will see you. Everyone needs to go to specialforcesfoundation.org, and you can go on to the site. You can also go to, you can hit the donation one on there. See the donate at the very top? Once you say donate to the cause, you can actually donate to them. So, I'll see you tonight. I'll be there tonight, and I'll see you tomorrow. I'm going to win that golf tournament at the sanctuary. And,
I hear you, man.
It's a pleasure to be connected with you and to be able to. What's that?
So I'll be pulling for you.
Let's go. Come on, let's go. All right, brother. God bless you.
You as well.
Whew. Yeah, so I want to give them a special shout out because of the work that they've done, and I'm a big fan. There's a couple organizations I'm a big fan of. That's one of them. So go to specialforcesfoundation.org. Okay, so our next guest, we're gonna get right back into vaccine research. We've been talking a lot about this lately because it's the one thing. You have elections, which are stolen, and you have vaccines, which are run by Big Pharma that wants to basically make you it's like a human rat experiment. They just, they mark every vial and you come up and say, oh, I died. Not you, but your family says you died. And they're like, oh, that checks. This entire line of people that took this vaccine, they died within 3 months. But you never know because you don't get to have the conversation with those people. So let me just tell you about our next guest. It's Shaz Khan. She's an independent vaccine researcher and author of The Ultimate Vaccine Timeline. She was born in London, so she probably has a great accent. Swiss Indian creative designer and critical thinker. She has a bachelor's in product design from Central St. Martin's College. And she's also studied nutrition, immunobiology, and vaccinology. So she's been working on some stuff, and I will tell you that I went and watched another broadcast that she was on. They were interviewing her. And I was fascinated by the depth of knowledge. So with that said, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. Shaz, welcome to the show.
Hi, Joe. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. So tell us, vaccines, good, bad? So is it
Well, first
that
of all, I'd
easy?
just like
Is
to
it one?
specify, well, my opinion, again, I'm not a medical professional, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not asking anybody to listen to what I have to say. But in my opinion, where we are at with the vaccines on the market today and the schedule, unfortunately, there is no proof that vaccines improve the health of our children and even adults. And my entry into this subject, because I'm, as I said, not a medical professional, I'm not even a parent, so this issue was not on the radar for me until 10 years ago when my father died soon after his flu vaccine. And I started asking questions basically from that because I didn't have any knowledge of vaccines whatsoever. So from reading books to then going into the library, into National Archives, I was actually quite horrified to find out the information that the governments and medical professionals were aware of, but that didn't get distilled to the public, and often was actually buried in, freedom of information requests that I then had to get access to. I mean, I worked mainly in the UK, so a lot of these documents